Hey friends, and welcome back. Today, we are going to be replacing the door speakers in my Ford Focus. For the speakers, we're going with Rockford Fosgate Prime R1. The front door speakers, we are going with a component set, which is a separate woofer, separate tweeter. And for the rear doors, we are going with a coaxial speaker, which is the speaker and tweeter in one. But here, tweeter, woofer all in one. Then on those component speakers, you can see there's a separate woofer, just a woofer, no tweeter, and then the tweeter is actually separate on these, allowing you to put that tweeter either in a location on your car where there's already a tweeter, or if you don't, it allows you to put that tweeter a little bit higher, bring up that sound stage from the floor up closer to your ear level. To do the door speakers, you don't need a lot of tools. You're gonna need a Torx bit like a T25, some panel tools, maybe a screwdriver, and that's all we're gonna really need to get this door panel off, which we're gonna do right now. To start the door removal, first thing we're gonna do is this tweeter location. If your car has these, you're gonna be able to just pry this up. There's a couple clips on there, and then there's gonna be a couple clips here on the front. I'll use the body panel tools to pry this up, and then this is going to come off. Once you use your body panel tool, that kind of here and here, pry it out. It's gonna allow this panel to come off, and now we're just going to see the tweeters back there, and it does have just a little plug that holds it on. Plugs that tweeter in right there. We need to remove that, set it off to the side, gives us access to tweeter. We're gonna set this aside for now. This is where our new tweeter is gonna go. We're gonna look at what we've got to do to mount that new one here in just a second, but for now, I'm gonna finish pulling this body panel off. Next step, there's gonna be a little panel right here. We're gonna pry that out, and behind there's a Torx screw that we've got to remove. You might struggle with this cover. I did a little bit. I'm gonna I can't do this because I'm only one person, but I'm gonna show you. When this is in here, the way I did this is I took my body trim panel tool and pushed on the back here, and that popped the front up, and I used another trim tool. So I used two of them, one to push in on the back, and then that pops up this front corner a little bit. And then I used this other one to get in there and pry it off. And that was the way to do it. Otherwise, I struggled to try to figure out how to get that off, but that was it. Push on the back, it pries up this front just a little bit, gives you enough room to get under there and pop that off. Now you can see that Torx screw right there. It's T25. So just grab yourself either a wrench, screwdriver, whatever. You're gonna pull that screw out. The next thing we're gonna remove is this little cover right here. There should be a screw right behind there. So again, just gonna use our trim tool, pry this off, and should be another Torx bolt right there. And then once that covers off the ridge of the door, there's that bolt I was talking about right behind that cover. So we're gonna pull that out. The next step of this process is there's a little trim piece right here, this silver piece on mine. This is going to pry off. We're gonna start here at the top and pry it off. There's some clips here, and then it like hooks underneath here. So we're gonna pry these out and then pull it forward here. And this is where you can see the clips on this, that clip right into there. And then here's that hook on the back that just kind of hooks back there. And then you pull all this out. And now you should be able to pry out this piece here. There's some clips under that hold that in, so I'll get my trim tool and we'll kind of pry it here, and try to pop that out. Once that's pried up, just pull this guy up and then disconnect any of your connections on the back side here. This model is just a one-wire connection. So push in the clip, separate it, and then there's the power window switch. And you can see back there, that's gonna give us access to the remaining bolts on this door, I believe. Now you're gonna take your body panel tool on the bottom side of your door, and there's different ones to do this. I don't have the one I get up there that will grab onto the clips and pop them out. So I'm gonna pry the panel away from the door a little bit, get my hands up under it, and then I'm gonna pop it off. It's gonna be on there pretty tight because these clips are in small little holes and they snap in. You might break some. You'll have to replace them if you do. I'll link to some of that stuff down below. But now I'm gonna go through, I'm just gonna get my hand under here, I'm gonna pop this panel off. This is one of the harder door panels to get off I've ever had to remove. And the reason I was really struggling to get these door panels off, on the bottom of this, I don't know if it's all cars, there's the two little bolts on the bottom that are like on an expansion bracket in there that when you loosen it, it allows it to spread it, to tighten down to get this out. So check your car if you're struggling to get this off to see if these are down here. You can feel up here, you can see there's these holes, one on both sides. You might have to loosen those before this door panel will pop off. I did discover that, and then when you put it back together, same thing. Put your door panel together and then tighten those down and it sucks it up against the actual door. Once I've got the body panel separated. There's still a couple cables to disconnect. There's this one here that goes to the power lock and unlock. And then this is the door handle cable, which we can, I'll have to look at that from the other side. There we go. We can either pop that thing out there, or we could pull this whole assembly off. I'm not sure what the easier option would be there, but we'll take a look. There's this little plastic shield thing. We're ripping that off. We're going to put sound deadener on here, so I'm going to take this off of the car right now as well. But this door handle clip, just so you guys know, it has these little clips. You just kind of push down on them, and it allows it to pop out of the door, and I could pull it through. And now we can just set that off to the side. Once we have the body panel and that plastic off, I had to remove a couple things, but I had to pull that off just to get that plastic off from under there. You can see now we have access to that factory speaker, just a paper cone there. I'm gonna unplug the clip right here, pull that off there. We're gonna go ahead and remove the screws on here that hold this onto the door, and then pop this whole assembly off. Once those are out, we can just pull the old speaker out. Little tiny stock speaker there, 25 watt speaker, replacing with those 45 watt Rockford Fosgate speakers. And now we're going to pull off this trim ring with the bolt that's holding it on there, and we'll put on our new speaker bracket. Now that's where our speaker mounts, and you can see it's not going to mount to this, and that's why you've got to order the Metra speaker brackets that attach to this door to hold those speakers. These are the part numbers you'll need. This is the speaker harness adapter, and then this is that speaker adapter right there. Again, I'll link these down in the description below. Make it easy for you guys to get them. I'm going to go ahead and sound deaden this panel. I'm going to skip showing you guys the process. I've already got a video showing you guys how to do sound deadener. And when I come back, we'll get onto the step of putting the speaker back together here, and then the door panel. That speaker wire harness kit, it just plugs into the factory door harness, again, right here. It just clips in, and what I'm doing then is taking the speaker leads, and I'm running them behind the speaker mount right here to be able to plug into the backside of the speakers. Clipping that together like that, gonna have it sit up out of the way here, and we'll connect to our speakers right there. No crimping or anything down here. It's just a matter of now plugging those into the backside of the speakers and then mounting them. On the back, one of these terminals is bigger than the other one, and these will only connect to one side because one of these is bigger, one's smaller, so I'm going to connect those and then mount this to the door. The speakers came with this screw mounting kit. I'm using those little flat washer things to put on the bracket on the four corners so I can mount the speaker to them. Okay, door number 1 complete. I'm going to buckle this back up and move on to the other side. I did quite a bit more than just replacing the speaker. I also did sound deadener and stuff. So this took about 2 hours, just to give you an idea of how long it would take to do this. Then the final thing I've still got to do on here is the tweeter, which I've got to look to see if it'll just clip into these brackets that are on there. On here, there's these little brackets around here. You just pry these apart, and that'll allow this tweeter to pop out. You'll want to be careful, though, not to break those. But like I said, I'll just get like a screwdriver or my body trim panel tool, put it in there, pry it back a little bit, and then allow me to pop that out. And there is no wire harness for this plug, so we will have to cut into this wire and splice it to the new wire on the tweeter. Something else to be aware of. Some speaker components come with a separate crossover that has to be mounted somewhere with the wires run to it. Part of the reason I went with these Rockford Fosgates is they don't have that. Crossover for the tweeter is built into the tweeter, and they're not super high powerful, 45 watts RMS. So that's gonna be plenty for the setup we're doing. I'm not doing a sound quality setup or anything crazy, but this is still gonna sound really awesome. And like I said, on this guy here, we're just gonna pry these little things back, and you can see it's allowing me to get this tweeter pried up. I got it pried up right there. I've just got to get this one side done there, and this thing's going to pop right out. Just like that. So there's that factory tweeter pried out, and you can see that there's just some clips that hold the tweeter in, so I'm hoping our new tweeter will actually just sit in those clips as well. So these tweeters, they come with like a little mount, like if you're going to flush mount them, that's what this mount's for. You just untwist this back here, and then this assembly comes apart. So we're gonna just take these off. This comes with a bunch of different mounting options. I'm gonna try to just pop this into this grill really quick and see if we can make it mount. I'm hoping that's what will happen. Let's find out. I want to be careful not to break this while doing this, but sorry, trying to hold the camera with my legs and do this at the same time is not super simple. But I think, honestly, oh man, guys, look at that. There it is. It literally fits. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. This is more than I could have hoped for. So mounting this is a matter of just popping it in. Now that is awesome. It's there. You can pry it out. I might put some hot glue on there just to hold it in place a little bit, but that fits perfectly. Oh man, Mr. Pips is here. He says it's break time. So I'm gonna go find a hot glue gun, take a break, and grab a cold refreshment and get ready to do this final step on this door, and then I will be done with the driver's side. Hi, Pip. I really wish there was a way to retain that factory plug, but that plug is actually on the back of the old tweeter. Like, it's attached. I could probably get crazy and solder and stuff like that, but like I said, we're just gonna cut that plug off and splice right into the wires here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and reassemble this, and this side will be completely done. You may recall in my head unit install video, I set my cutoff on the amplifier to 60 Hertz. The reason for that, on this model number here, the R165S, you'll see the frequency response is 60 Hertz to 200 or 20K Hertz. So that's why I set that to 60 Hertz. You could do that in your amplifier, on your deck, however. Now, the passenger side is simply doing the same thing you did on the driver's side. Take off the door panel, replace the speakers, Dynamat, do whatever sound deadener you want to use, and button it up and you're good. And that's how you do the front speakers on these. Mine are done, and I can tell you a world of difference. These speakers sound way better than the stock speakers, but of course they've got better woofers, better tweeters. They're going to sound better. And as you may recall, I also installed an amplifier with the head unit when I did that. So I'm giving these the right amount of power per channel from that amplifier. The amplifier was 50 watts RMS. These speakers are 45 watts RMS, so they're almost perfectly matched. Sometimes people will buy the biggest amplifier they can buy or speakers with the highest wattage they can find. That's not the right way to do this. The right way to do this is to match your parts together so they complement each other. And since I'm not going for a super loud, crazy competition build, 45 watts RMS is plenty loud considering the factory system's usually around 20 watts. So it's about double the power, and it's gonna be a lot cleaner and sound so much better. And that's how you do the front door speakers on a 2013 and up Ford Focus. ST model, SE model, titanium, whatever, they're all basically the same. Mine has the tweeters and the pillar. It's non-amplified from the factories, ST1. So that's how you do this one. Your model may be a little different based upon what you have as far as the factory stereo, amplifier, things like that. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, like, share the video, and watch for my next video, which is going to be the rear door speakers. And until next time.